a different angle. Thank you, Sudipta. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings and regards from the land of Lord Jagannath. So, my co-presenter would be speaking on how to optimize the toric outcomes, but I'm going to address to something that you might not have heard in many conferences, meetings being discussed. Why do we need the assistance or services of a toric IOL? The why of it. Let's get on to that. This is a post-operative refraction of a patient, a plus 1D sphere with a minus 2D cylinder at 180 degrees. What does it tell you? This is a post-operative refraction of a patient. What does it tell you? It tells you that a toric was demanded, was required, and we did not give it. Either, or we have implanted a toric, the patient needed a toric, and it has rotated by more than 30 degrees. Yeah. We'll take the second possibility under the carpet first and concentrate on the first. What is the spherical equivalence in this case? It's zero. Isn't it zero? Yeah. Right. So if you look at the biometry report of any optical biometer for a particular patient, this is what you have on the right-hand side, the spherical equivalence. Okay? What does the spherical equivalence mean? What it means is it projects the light on a circle of least confusion which is acceptable to the patient. Does not necessarily mean that the vision will be crystal clear. It just focuses on that circle, which is a circle of least confusion, okay, which is acceptable to the patient. We cannot have a cylinder without a sphere. We can have a sphere without a cylinder. We cannot have a cylinder without a sphere. So if a patient has a 0.75 cylinder at 180, what it means is he has a plus 0.75 sphere at 180. Or, putting it another way, 0.75 sphere at 90, 1.5 cylinder on the opposite axis. That's what it effectively means. This patient came to me, one eye operated, the right eye has been operated already, plus 1 with a minus 1.5 cylinder. Again, coming back to the spherical equivalence. What's the spherical equivalence in this case? 0.25. Isn't it 0.25? Should be perfectly acceptable to the patient. The other eye needs to be operated, right? Now, when I subjected this patient to the findings on an eye trace. Now, in here, if you look at this, these symbols are, there is a cross on the glass, which means both the sphere and the cylinder are uncorrected. The next segment will come when the sphere is corrected and cylinder is uncorrected. And finally, you have the final outcome. All right? Now, this patient with a 0.25 spherical equivalence, when was subjected to the eye trace, look at the MTF curves. They are doing miserably bad. All cornea, internal plane, everywhere it is bad. Now we correct the sphere and just put the patient on cylinders. The internal MTF improves somewhat, but the corneal MTF still remains low in that critical square. When we correct him fully, the same patient who had a 0.25 spherical equivalence, the moment we correct it fully, all the MTF curves improve. It will be further explained in the following slides. This is with both sphere and cylinder uncorrected, same patient. Look at the DLI, look at the E. How blurred or how distorted does it look? With the sphere corrected, it improves ever so slightly. With full correction, it improves massively, and the DLI score is a perfect 10 on 10. This is the reason why even with a spherical equivalence as low as 0.25, when there is a demand of torics, you have to give it a toric. All right? Now, to split and not show a spherical equivalence, to split it into the sphere, absolute sphere and absolute cylinder, there's only one software which can do it, and that's called a Holiday IOL consultation software. Unfortunately, it is incorporated only in machines like the Varion and the Argos. So if you don't have access to these machines, you can still do a pretty good job. Just put your calculations on the Barrett's toric calculator. Let Barrett's toric calculator be your primary calculator, not the Barrett's Universal 2. That will give you the idea, fair bit of idea, whether the patient needs toric or not. And believe me, if you're not giving toric, the services of a toric IOL in a patient who needs that, and just depending on the spherical equivalence you're putting in a monofocal non-toric IOL, this is what the patient is going to land up in, and the quality of vision is something that the patient would never ever be happy with. Thank you so much.